have our special guest, Brianna, here. Everyone give a round of applause. Thank you so much for taking some time out to chat with us today on this beautiful Sunday. Tell the people, who are you? Where are you from? What do you do?
Yes. Well, hello everyone. My name is Brianna. I'm from Seattle, Washington. I was a competitive dancer for 17 years, and then I moved out to Los Angeles to continue my training, pursue a dance career, and then I've also now kind of stepped into the acting and TV and film world. So it's been really fun. And yeah, that's a little bit about me. I'm
I
excited.
love that. That's awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. Like I said, I think today's topic is really important to me because I think you and I really resonate in the sense that we're both like working artists. We're
Yep.
both out here trying to make a career for ourselves. And so, just to get a little bit more detail about kind of your dance journey,
Yeah.
how did you find dance? And what has this like journey been for you starting and now here?
Yeah, well, first, I think I fell in love with dance actually on film and TV. When I was little, like I watched a lot of old movies with my mom. We were always like singing in the rain, Tap with Gregory Hines, Sammy Davis Jr., White Christmas, like just so many classic movies in Hollywood where dance really like it made its appearance. And even like Disney Channel. I loved Disney Channel as a kid. I loved watching these artists that could kind of do everything. They were triple threats, right? I loved Disney Channel. They could sing, they could dance, they could act. High School Musical, just so many movies and film and TV that really inspired me as a kid. And I remember, like, as a little girl, telling my mom, like, I want to be on the box. I want to be on the box. And then she put me in dance classes, and then the rest is history.
I love that. And so you didn't study dance in school. You primarily just competed with studios. How has that journey been?
I think it's really cool actually because a lot of the time, as a dancer, you're with your studio family all the time, which I really liked. And so for a lot of kids, they were going to school, dancing at school, also studying dance, then going straight to dance class afterwards, which is amazing. You're getting so much training. But for me, I actually kind of enjoyed the separation of it. I enjoyed going just to school, studying the math and the history and the science, and then having my time to like really switch gears in my brain and say, okay, this is my dance time, this is my creativity time. And for me, that was something I actually really enjoyed because it felt like I got both, which I feel like also kind of translated into my college life. When I started doing college, I studied something completely different. I started doing psychology. And then once again, it made me feel like I also had my creative outlet. So I really tried to like keep it separate. And I actually found that that really worked for me.
That's beautiful. What advice would you give to a dancer that's maybe wanting to have a backup plan, like psychology or study something else? Did that benefit you? Is there a drawback to it?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say there is no problem in studying something other than dance and having a backup plan. A lot of the times you say, I'm not going to have a backup plan. This is only what I'm going to do. I'm only going to dance. And that's amazing because that means you have goals. But with those goals, LA is really hard, especially if you want to do commercial dance. If you want to do the industry, it's really, really hard out here. And so for me, I actually worked as a children's therapist to fund my dance career, to keep going, to keep taking those classes. So for me, it was something that really, really helped because as much as you say, yes, this is what I want to do, and you want to keep pursuing those, I think it's also really cool to have an academic background as well in case you need to do something else because a lot of times that can actually help you succeed in other areas. It can help you succeed in dance when you have that funding, those other trainings in other areas.
And you bring up a really good point. I feel like a lot of the times too, sometimes as dancers really want to rely on our dance training to take us like to the top.
Yep.
But there's like cross training involved.
There
What
is.
kind of cross training do you do that helps with your dance training, or not?
Yeah. So that's actually really funny. To me, I think dance, a really, really important aspect of dance is facial expression. Now, that kind of sounds a little weird, but when I studied psychology, there was so much I learned about human emotion that I felt like really gave me a whole new perspective on how to add that into my dance. And I actually didn't think like, you think academics and your creativity, you always kind of like separate that because you're like, oh, this is a backup plan. It's totally separate. but there was so much that I learned about how the mind works that actually was like, oh, that can translate into how the body works. So, and in ways, dance, I feel like also kind of helped me with psychology in ways, knowing how those emotions work, knowing how feeling certain ways feels as a dancer. It's like, creative outlets are so, so important. And we learned that in psychology. And so to say, okay, like, wow, how grateful, how blessed I am to be able to have this creative outlet that it's almost therapeutic. For a lot of dancers, it is. We say dance is therapy, right? So that was really cool and something it kind of was a cross training in a way to say, "Oh, these are how emotions look. This is how they feel." To really study that, to study the brain. It really helps you be like, "Oh, this is an emotion I can portray while I dance." And when you're in the industry, you can be the most talented dancer on the planet, but you have to perform with your face, If you got nothing going on here, you're not going to be captured by that dancer, right? And that's really what you want to do when you're in an audition. Everything has to be on, everything has to be ready to go from your face to your moves to the way you move to your shapes, like everything as a whole. You can't just have one or the other. And so the biggest thing I learned in auditions is I've messed up in auditions before. I've forgotten bits of the choreo, but my face is on, my energy is on, and that has gotten me much further than just having the perfect routine.
And you sing and you act and you do other things. Talk
Yeah,
about those.
yeah, so those are a whole different ballgame, right? And I always like to say, don't put your eggs in one basket. A lot of dancers say, I'm just gonna dance. But when you have those special skills, if you can act, if you can sing, don't just throw those away. Everything can help you in the dance industry. I've had dance auditions where I go in and they say, hey, can you sing? And you're like, right? So always be prepared for everything. I've had dance auditions where they have me read a scene because they say, you know what, we're casting a commercial. We know you're a dancer as well, but could you also do this role? There is so much more to the dance industry than just movement. I mean,
Mhm.
it is a awesome skill if you have more than one thing to be a triple threat, a double threat. Even if you can bicycle backwards, put it on your resume, like never put your eggs in one basket. And there's been so many times where singing as well and acting as well has helped me book dance jobs and connections as well. Connections I've made in the acting universe have helped me get dance jobs over here in the dance universe. The industry is so connected in so many ways. So always keep everything you have, train in everything, train in as much as you can, because I promise you it will come in handy.
Yes, that's great advice. That's really great advice. And I don't know if everybody remembered Miss Mandy from last week, but that's actually Bree's mom. Okay. And we talked a lot about support and what that looks like from a parent's perspective. And that's self-care of helping a dancer maybe after competition or maybe after they didn't get, what they were really hoping for out of an audition, etc. What does that look like for you? What is the type of support that you need to feel like your battery's recharged, and
Yeah.
how do you talk yourself through to get to the next thing after maybe an audition didn't go well or something didn't go your way?
Yeah. I think having a good circle of people is so, so important. A lot of the times in LA, it can feel really isolated. As someone who lives in LA, it's hard to find good people. It's hard to find kind people sometimes. The LA dance industry is so, so cutthroat. And because of that, naturally, you're just going to want to feel competitive with everyone. And it's the same with the competition world. I'm sure so many young dancers also feel that when they're going up against their peers at competition. It's really hard
Mhm.
to separate yourself from trying to think everyone is your competition. And when you think that way, it's hard to find close friends because it's such a tight knit circle. LA is such a small world that if you don't separate it, it's going to be really, really hard to stay in a good mindset. For me, having a close circle of people that are supportive and I can watch them get an audition that I didn't get and say, "You go, girl. You ate that up." You know what I mean? It is
Mhm.
so important. And I'll see my friends at auditions and I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, good luck. Like, we got this. I can't wait." And that is so, so critical because if you think about it the wrong way, it can be really hard to make those good friends and those good connections, which is so, so important because if you don't have that, it's hard to thrive, Like you can't do anything on your own. Like you need good people around you. Surround yourself with people that not only support you when you win, but you support them back. It has to be mutual and you have to say, the only competition is myself. When I win, I win. When I lose, it's still a win because I learned something and now I get to go do another audition, and that's the best mindset you can have, really.
Right. And it sounds like it actually serves you to be nice.
Absolutely. Be nice. Be kind.
Just be nice. Right. And be kind to yourself. I mean, like, the best thing that you can do when things don't go your way, you may not get the thing that you want, like, knowing that you're still talented enough, that you're still, like, capable. What have been the highlights? Like, what can you say that you've been really proud of in your career this far?
Yeah, so some of my favorite moments when it comes to industry stuff that I've done, I mean, one of my favorites was actually back in Seattle. This was before I moved to LA. I did a Nickelodeon, uh,
Oh!
and I got to meet Russell Wilson, which, if you don't know, he's really big in the Seattle culture. Okay, we love Russell Wilson over here. Well, he's not on the Seahawks anymore. But back then, he was so cool, and so I got to get slimed, which was crazy, and we were all kind of slipping in the slime while we were dancing. And that was a really cool memory because I had always wanted to be on either Nickelodeon or Disney. So that was really fun. LA, some of my favorites have been music videos. I did a music video with Becky G to bring a heat wave. That was crazy, but it was so much fun. I mean, we were all sweating and dancing, and it's really just like, wow, all those years of dance competition training really can get you there. And I thank my dance competition days so much because it taught me so much about resilience and not giving up and keeping going and working hard. And if it wasn't for my dance studio, my dance competition, I'm sure I wouldn't even be the dancer that I am today to get into those industry places. So competitions like Oro really can help grow dancers get to the places where they need to be because it teaches you how to work under pressure, how to move under pressure, and how to still perform to the best of your abilities, even when you're nervous, even when you're anxious, because that's how it's going to be in the industry. That's how it's going to be in LA. So, as a competitive dancer, I can say it really does prep you for some stuff, okay? It preps you for
Mhm.
the videos, for the live performances, for the tours. It really does. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. Well, congratulations. I love seeing your journey, and I'm really excited to see what the future continues to hold. For our last couple of minutes, we're going to see if anybody has any questions. Okay, they've been shy these last couple weeks, so I don't know what's going on, but we shall see. In the meantime, do you have any fun projects coming up? Anything that we should know about?
Sweet. So one of my projects is coming out, I believe, end of January, early February. There's not an official release date yet, but it is a really big network TV show. It's going to be on Hulu and Disney Plus. So
Yes.
it's been a crazy journey, a wild ride, and there's nothing I can thank more than dance. Always, I feel like I always say dance was my first love, and so there's always a piece of me that I feel like was created from dance, if that makes sense. And so when I was in dance, you learn how to have emotion, how to perform with your face, with your body. And it's such a different aspect of acting that I think a lot of other actors might not have if they didn't have dance training because it's
Mm.
such a different piece that you have to tap into. And I'm sure a lot of dancers understand this. That feeling when you're on stage and everything just kind of like blacks out, everything goes blank, and the only thing is you and the stage and your movement, how you're feeling, your emotions. And there's so many auditions I've done where I feel like when I tap into how I feel when I dance, it helps me act in such a different way. And so that was one of my first auditions I booked, actually, was for this project. And so it was really cool to translate my dance performance style into my acting performance style, and it's this really cool hybrid that I feel like just gives me a bit more versatility, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's coming out. Disney Plus, Hulu. I will definitely be posting about it when it comes out, so keep your eyes out.
Okay, give a follow.
Yep, yep.
I love that. Okay, well, it's been lovely talking with you. Well, to close us out, what's one thing you want to say to a dancer that's probably or maybe scared to put themselves out there, go to their first audition, do something more in the industry and go for their first commercial? What would you tell them to maybe hype them up a little bit?
Yeah. First and foremost, I would say ask yourself, is this what you really, truly, to the bottom of your heart want? And because that's so important. If your heart is not all the way in this industry, in dance, in the arts, in this craft, I would say maybe not, because it's so, so hard. It is so
Mm.
hard. It can be uncomfortable. It can make you have a little anxiety, it can be really nerve-wracking and really, really challenging. So first ask yourself, is this what you want? To the bottom of your heart, to your core, to your dancer core.
Mhm.
If that answer is yes, freaking go for it. Whether you're nervous, whether you're anxious, you're never going to stop feeling anxious. You're never going to stop feeling nervous. You have to go anyways. And that's what a true dancer and performer does, because performers who are famous and who have been performing for years and years and years still get nervous. It never goes away. But to get there, you have to persevere and you have to push through that. That's the most important thing. You can't give up. You're going to face rejection. You're going to face people telling you that you're not good enough, and that is never true. If
Mm.
you love this craft, you are already good enough. And you're going to hear a million no's before you hear that one yes. I know everybody says it. It's so cliche, but it's so true.
It's
And
true.
we see that, especially going to LA. I mean, the amount of no's you get on the daily, but when you get those yeses, it is so rewarding, and it is so amazing to feel the feeling of performing and sustaining yourself doing what you love. It's so, so amazing. So to any dancer out there, you just have to go for it, and you have to shut your brain off and say, you know what? I am terrified, but I'm going to do it anyways. And that's what will get you far.
Boom. I love that. Mic freaking drop. Well, Brianna, thank you so much for your time, your wisdom, your talents. It was really, really lovely talking to you, like I said. And everybody watching, thank you for tuning in. Always come back at 4 o'clock Sunday. You know what time it is. Okay, talk to you. Bye, y'all.
Lights go low, the stage is set. Oh yeah. Golden glitter, can't forget. Dancers move, they own the night. Oro dance competition, feel the light.